Hello everybody on Newtoland, Jamie Powell back for another video today. Going to talk to you guys about my favourite Christmas movies to watch every year. Going to go through a few list of films, so don't want to waste too much time. There's a few to get through, but there might be a few films in here that you might not have heard of or seen, so maybe you get some recommendations from me. But yeah, let's get cracking. These are the films that I try to watch every year without fail. Let's get started then with Krampus. Krampus is a horror comedy set at Christmas Eve. It's a fantastic old school practical effects horror film. It does have a few obviously CGI moments for certain scenes, but I really do love this movie. This family getting invaded by this Krampus, which is Santa Claus's dark shadow. It's based on German folklore, and basically he goes to see all the bad boys and girls, and this family are definitely up to no good, so they definitely need a bit of assistance this Christmas, shall we say. It's a very dark film for a Christmas film, but I love it to pieces. Obviously, Home Alone and Home Alone 2 are staples in my house. These films I've watched since day one. I remember going to see Home Alone at the cinema for the very first time back in 1990 when I was 7 years old. Loved it then and I love it now. I watched that film without doubt every single year. And a couple of years later we had Home Alone 2, which is pretty much a direct remake of the first one but set in New York. But for some reason I love it just as much. It's very difficult to pick between the two. I think it just snaps it as the first one, but it's very close. I love both of these movies and they're both part of my childhood, and yeah, I love it to pieces. Next one I'll talk to you guys about is The Polar Express. Now this film is kind of 50-50 for me. Now I never really loved the animation. I thought the animation at times is beautiful, but most of the time it's creepy as fuck. The characters, because it's all done realistic animation, trying to make it look real, and they have like all these things over their bodies, the actors, and I don't get that. I don't like that animation too much, but there's something special about this film. I love the idea of a train in the snow going up to meet Father Christmas on Christmas Eve. Such a lovely cozy idea, and having hot chocolate and all that is very nice. But I think the main reason is that me and my gran used to watch this. You guys probably don't know, but I used to look after my nan for it was about 7 years. I used to look after her. She had she wasn't very well, and I went to look after her, and we would watch this film every year, and she loved it to pieces. She just loved the train, so it's sort of become like a sentimental thing to me. I like the film, but it has more of a meaning to it. The Shop Around the Corner, starring James Stewart. This is a lovely little film. It's basically about the shop that are leading up to Christmas, and there's two characters in this film. There's a boy and a girl. There's loads of characters, but the two main characters, a boy and a girl, they hate each other in real life, but they're sending love letters to each other through like a mystery writing thing, and they love each other by pen. So it's one of those sort of funny romantic comedy set at Christmas. It's a lovely little film, great characters, great writing, and it's got quite a dark element to it as well. But yes, fantastic film, highly recommend it. It's one of my favourite films of all time. On the subject of Jimmy Stewart, or James Stewart, we got to talk about It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life is a lot of people's favourite film, and I can see why. This is a masterpiece of a Christmas movie. It's a great story, great writing. It's a little cheesy, it's dated a bit, you know, starting off with the stars talking to each other. Yes, it's a bit cheesy, but you know what, it doesn't make any difference to me. I love this movie. This movie is phenomenal. It's such a great film, a very emotional performance from James Stewart. I've said to my friends about this scene where James Stewart is sat in a bar, there's no dialogue, and you just see his face, it's all in his eyes. It's just heartbreaking, and it's just beautifully done, and you don't get films like this anymore. Scrooged with Bill Murray. This is a take on A Christmas Carol, and this is fantastic. Bill Murray plays as TV executive. He's putting on a big production of Scrooge for TV. He hates it. He wants to put up his violent version. He's a grumpy sod. He doesn't like Christmas. He doesn't want anything to do with it. And of course he gets visited by three spirits plus Marley, and yeah, it all goes to pan. It's a really good little comedy. I love it to pieces. I've watched this one for a very long time, and it's really funny in places. I recommend it. The Muppets Christmas Carol. Now this is a family staple as well. This film has been a family tradition to watch it every single year, and I've never missed it a single year. It's wonderful. It's such a funny, heartwarming, I mean, the production on this is phenomenal. There's some really quotable moments and unforgettable moments, to be honest. I never forget seeing this in the cinema, and I just had this feeling of joy watching it as a kid, and I've just loved it since, and it is a staple, and no cheeses for us Mises. The Snowman. Now, I remember my mum getting the VHS of this when it first came out. I was very young, and This is just something special. It's absolutely simple. A snowman comes to life and they fly in the air to go and see a few other snowmen and Father Christmas. It's simple, but it's so beautifully done. There's no dialogue. You don't need it. It's all done through visuals and it's all done through cartoonist animation. And it's like pencils. They've drawn it by pencil. It's just beautiful. Absolutely perfect. The music is wonderful. It's funny. It's very sad. And I think I cried first time when I watched it. And now and then it still gets me. It's a really touching film. But yeah, very simple, but a beautiful film. But let's talk about Father Christmas. Merry Blooming Christmas. This was Raymond Briggs's second sort of adaptation of one of his Christmas books that came to TV, and it was Mel Smith, I think it was, who did the voice. I loved it. It was so different in tone to the Snowman, and there's a special cameo in this film as well, which it makes the Snowman, the impact of the ending, not so bad when you watch this one. I know that's maybe a spoiler, but who hasn't seen these films? I mean, Father Christmas is so funny and it's a great little cartoon. If I watch The Snowman, I have to watch the Father Christmas straight after. It's just a done deal. The Nightmare Before Christmas. Is it a Halloween film? Is it a Christmas film? Well, it's all about them setting up a Christmas experience. So therefore, for me, I consider it a Christmas movie. I just think it's great. Tim Burton at his best. Even though he didn't direct it, he came up with the storyline and the characters, etc. It's a really good stop motion animation film. The songs are fantastic. Oogie Boogie is amazing, but I just love the story. It's dark, it's creepy, but it's funny and it's got a lot of heart to it as well. Trapped in Paradise. This is a film with Nicolas Cage and his two brothers, one of them played by Jon Lovitz. They go to rob a bank on Christmas Eve, but they get stuck in the town that they're trying to escape from. This is a really funny film. Very good story, great characters, and it's got a good message to it as well. It's got a lot of memorable lines for me. I just love this movie. Nobody really talks about it, and I think it needs a Blu-ray. It's such a good little film, and I do recommend it, and that is Trapped in Paradise. It is available on DVD. Christmas Carol with Alastair Sim. Now, this is the old black and white one from back in the 40s. Alastair Sim is a fantastic actor, most famous for his St. Trinian stuff, but I did like him in Laughter in Paradise, and there's a couple other ones that he did as well that I really liked. But this is a Christmas Carol, and I think this is probably the best version of A Christmas Carol, in my opinion, but it doesn't top Muppets, but it's up there with the Muppets. It really is a gritty, and it's an old black and white film, but it still has a punch to it, and it's also funny, it's also moving, but it's very polished, and Alastair Sim as Scrooge is perfection. Elf, I know him. That's a nice little Christmas film to watch every year. I've seen it so many times, and it's always enjoyable. It's a nice little film, and I always find it quite amusing. And obviously, there's a famous bit where he shouts, "Santa, I know him." We all know that bit, but it's just a nice little film, some great little moments in it, and it's quite a small film really. There's not really a lot that happens, but I really do enjoy it. It's one I'm going to continue to watch every year. Miracle on 34th Street. Now there's two versions. The original 40s version, also very good, and you got the one with Richard Attenborough, and I like both equally. I think they're both very good in what they do, and but yeah, I mean the story is simple. A little girl is a bit worried about Christmas. She doesn't know whether to believe in Father Christmas or not, and then a guy who thinks he's Father Christmas becomes the Santa Claus for a store, and she goes to see him, and a friendship is built, and it's all about faith. It's all about believing in Christmas. There's a wonderful dialogue in the Richard Attenborough one where he says about I might insert the clip of it if it will let me. If not, then it won't play, but because of copyright issues. But if I can, I will put that into the video.
I'm a symbol. I'm a symbol of the human ability to be able to suppress the selfish and hateful tendencies that rule the major part of our lives. If you can't believe, if you can't accept anything on faith, then you're doomed for a life dominated by doubt.
Such a lovely speech, and it does capture that feeling of Christmas. I think it's a lovely film. But let's talk about Bad Santa 1 and 2. I like these films. I think they're very funny. I think they're not for everybody. Not the humour is for everybody, and they're a bit naughty, they're a bit raunchy, they're a bit bad taste, but I kind of love it. Fuck me, Santa. They're really funny films. I just think they're great, and they're not politically correct. So if you don't like this sort of thing, stay clear. But Bad Santa 1 and 2, I think the first one is better, but I like the second one as well. Santa Claus the movie with Dudley Moore as one of the elves. This is a film I used to watch as a kid, and it's just fantastic. It's a nice Christmas film. It's the perfect Christmas film to watch on Christmas Eve. It's just a nice Christmas film about Santa doing his rounds and meeting some characters along the way. It's a great little film. A Christmas Story, and this is the last one I want to talk to you guys about. This is a foreign film. I think it might be Norwegian, and this is a sort of an artsy-fartsy version of the original telling of Father Christmas, or Santa Claus, whatever you want to call him. This is fantastic. Now the DVD cover, I thought this looks pants. It is available on Blu-ray and in English, but I watched it because my dad and my brother recommended it to me, and this is fantastic. This is one of those films that never gets talked about. It is such a good story, and it's so well done. Yeah, okay, it's very difficult to get a copy of this in the original language with English subtitles. I can't seem to find it, but you can get it on DVD. It's usually a couple of quid, and it's just wonderful. It's a great story. It is dubbed, but if you can get past that, you should enjoy it. It's a really strong story, and really highly recommend it. Very emotional, very moving, but also very, just, I don't know, it's just fantastic. But anyway, guys, there's loads of Christmas films I could go into, like Love Actually, and me and the wife watch it every year. It's a good giggle. But it's just so many Christmas films. I mean, you could go on for ages. There's one every single year, pretty much. I mean, Jingle All the Way. That's another good one. There was one that came out last year, Christmas Evil. No, I think that was called. I'll put a picture of it here in case I got that title wrong. I think I have. But it's basically about a robot Santa that goes on a killing spree. There's been lots of Christmassy films over the years. I mean, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I could go on all night. And they're all films I would recommend. But my favourite, if I was to pick my 5 favourite, we'll get down to the gritty quickly. It would be Krampus, Home Alone, Shop Around the Corner, Muppets Christmas Carol, and It's a Wonderful Life. And Scrooge. We'll put that one in as well as an extra. So there we go. That is my top list. And honestly, I hope you all are having a wonderful time during the season. And I hope you have a great Christmas day as well. And I'm slipping from side to side. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video. Merry Christmas to all of you. And bye for now. Toodaloo. Toodaloo.